like we talked about a little bit ago, was it Werewolf by Night? Also gave a little bit of that world introduction, and this was more the dark side. Will, I know you probably know way more about the character. It was kind of like a one-off character, one-off movie, one-off kind of story.
Well, I mean, it was an introduction to the character. Originally, Werewolf by Night was a Moon Knight villain, and Moon Knight proved to be so popular that they made him a hero, like so many others. And yeah, it was just an introduction to the supernatural. We got a slight introduction in Moon Knight, but now Werewolf by Night is just really kind of really spearheading and showing us what the supernatural, the MCU looks like. I kind of wasn't really impressed. The monsters and shit didn't really seem all that dangerous. I do like the references with the Bloodstones and Elsa, but it did kind of it was a breath of fresh air with the cinematography with the black and white. I love old Wolfman movies and old Dracula movies and movies where they team up, movies where they beefed out. The 1940s style cinematography, but he didn't come off as very dangerous. I don't really see what they could do with that character. And then they really doubled down on that trope I told y'all about. The females being very, very powerful, very witted, and the dudes being kind of non-threatening but kind of strong at the same time. But I mean, he didn't do anything of any significance in that little short film, in my opinion.
No, he really didn't. No, you talking about as a man or as a werewolf, or just in
Just
general?
as it's just in general, it's just that trope where it's the serious female sidekick can kick serious ass, and the dude is kind of smiley and non-threatening.
Oh
Even in his,
shucks, kind of
yeah,
like a
like
British all shucks. Like, oh, I didn't know I could do that.
yeah, just real,
Moving his weight
real
around.
silly. Yeah, just and it's like if it wasn't for luck, I didn't even once he transformed and we saw what he could do. I didn't feel like Elsa was in any real danger because she knew how to handle herself.
Yeah, he I'm not gonna lie, man. This project, like, if we're doing dark, DC's already set the tone with dark. Okay, that what they're over there doing is how it's supposed to be done. This felt so kiddie. This felt like a Halloween special by Marvel. And this is what I was talking about with the MCU world building. I don't know, and it feels like Legoland, like a Lego video game, because the cinematography for me, I know what they were going for, but the way it just came off, it was cheese. Like, I just couldn't do it. As I'm watching the show, I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, like, man, I don't know if this is for me. I get it; it's a Marvel special presentation, whatever that means, but it is supposed to also be a reflection into the dark world or whatever. And I don't really know if this gave it to me. The cinematography, maybe it's just this presentation, and maybe we're not done and fully getting what we're supposed to get out of it. But this presentation of the dark world was just kind of weak. The Wolfman was weak. The Monster Hunters was weak. Ted was dope. I didn't even understand his powers, but Ted was pretty dope. The other monster in it. I'm assuming that Blade is also in this vein of the Marvel world. Will
Mhm. Well, I
so
mean,
I
you got Man Thing. Man Thing is basically Marvel's
okay.
answer to Swamp Thing, but he's a supernatural being, and basically, if he touches you and you have evil in your heart or your soul is evil, you burn at his touch. So
Okay.
that's what was happening to those different people that he grabbed. But yeah, Blade, Moon Knight, Ghost Rider, the vampires, I mean, werewolves, anything dark like the Darkhold, all that stuff is in this vein of the MCU. Mosquito, just
Ah,
anything dark that is supposed to be in this vein of it. The
I
only
think.
thing that kind of really got me was with his design was he just looked too friendly, man. It really gave me Beauty and the Beast type vibes when they did that close up of his face. I'm
Yeah.
like, y'all trying too hard to make him still non-threatening. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they had the little makeup on his face or whatever, and I understand the whole premise behind it because he explained it. But I'm like, man, this dude don't look threatening at all, man.
No, and I wish we could have got an up close picture of him because yeah, I felt again, I get what they were trying to do with the production, but like his costume was just so total. It was like a man in a suit that had on not enough fur, but kind of too much fur at the same time. It
It
didn't
looked
make
like
no sense.
it looked like a big ass chimp, man, with like a slight dog face.
Yeah, I
Like
wouldn't.
he didn't
He
look
was.
he did. I don't know. I think they did it better back in like the 1940s and shit, but with the Wolfmans and shit, it was slow transitions. They didn't have the technology, but they found a way. You know what I'm saying?
And that's another thing for me. This movie does feel like too much technology trying to reach back. I feel like yeah, what they were going for, they probably could have done it, but I felt like they did too much of it. I mean, it looks clean, you know. Obviously, to incorporate is more than just black and white because you can do way more with this technology. But just looking at it, it doesn't. Like I said, it doesn't really feel like something as an adult I should be concerned about. I don't feel any terror. I don't feel any horror. I don't feel bad for her. Just you know what I mean? Just like she's gonna make it. So
Mhm.
I don't know. It came off soft, for a lack of a better word. But it was very violent though. I will say that. It was some harsh clips in there, man. Some things I didn't expect the MCU to get away with.
Yeah, they are kind of playing a little bit looser now. But yeah, I didn't really ever get the sense that she was in any real danger. And like you said, if it's a if it's the monsters ball and these are the hunters all should have had a unique set of skills, man. They should have just been some straight up badasses without weapons. I didn't get the sense that any of them was really all that dangerous.
You know what it is? Michael J. Fox, Teen Wolf. This is like Man Wolf. You know what I'm saying? Grown up
And
Teen
yeah,
Wolf.
and then it's like y'all monster hunters and y'all ain't never faced off against a werewolf. I mean, they always acting like they never seen one before.
Yeah, I don't think they had. I don't. Yeah, because they were like the lady was like, "Hey, this is you haven't caught one in a while." So obviously he's like top dog.
Yeah,
And
but he said he had a hundred kills,
right.
and obviously it must have been him setting himself loose on whatever monsters at on the full moon, and the wolf taking care of whatever. He just
I,
kind of like the Hulk, just kind of pointing it in a direction and letting it do its thing. But
I might
he
have
had
fronted a little bit.
no
That
control.
that scene was dope. That scene was dope. How they walked in the room. I might have fronted a little bit on that part.
Yeah, I
But
mean
yeah,
he has no control over this. I mean, how could he ever be on any kind of a team? You know what I'm saying? I don't know what they could do with him.
yeah. So right, that's what I'm wondering if it's just a purely one-off. Just to here's another part of what's going on in Phase 4, a snapshot into the rest of the Marvel Earth. I want them to focus on the Indian Ocean, damn it, but that's something else. I need a docu series about that.
That would be dope.
Um,
Right, forget about that.
Fresh, you're not gonna partake in that one.
Um, I'm gonna watch it. Looking at these clips, it looks like it's gonna be in the mode of what I enjoy, which is violence. Um, Unfortunately, I have that quirk where I like to watch violent entertainment. So I'm gonna watch it. You know what I'm saying? I see blam blams being used, mauling. You know what I mean? Nothing too diabolical like Dahmer. So I can get with it.
Now, as far as violence goes, it's probably one of the more violent projects they've ever done.
Yeah, but it was still very tame though at the same time. They really kind of playing
Yeah,
around with what they feel like they could get away with. And I
Uh,
mean, if it's this violent, just think what Deadpool was gonna be like, especially with Wolverine in it.
Well, Deadpool, it was done by Sony and Marvel. Disney has a certain thing they uphold. So you think they actually let the reins go for Deadpool?
Well, one of
Just
my one of my all time favorite movies by Fox is Old Man Logan, and they let him rip and run through that one. So I could see it. If the you cannot do certain stories in the MCU. Like everyone's not a PG guy in the MCU, man. Some of their bigger entities are murderers and degenerates and psychopaths. You know what I mean? So you can't all I get Disney being involved, and you can't just let Wolverine run wild, but he kind of gotta run wild. Otherwise, you're not gonna want to deal with the product. You know what I mean? They're gonna
We
give
just
you
have
some
him
more.
fight a bunch of robots like the cartoon did.
I mean, they got to be at least cyborgs or androids. They got to at least look human. No, they can't look humanoid. That's see right.
Everybody he fought for the most part was robots.
As long as you don't give me digital blood, I'm fine. When you start doing that, you lost me. Like now you're trying too hard.
no, I don't think that's the thing about Disney. You know what I'm saying? They real meticulous when it comes to actual blood and things of that nature. Like they do have like the like Marvel is the money maker, but it's under an umbrella of princess movies and Encantos and things of that nature. So
Yeah.
they do. If Disney has a say so, like you can tell which one Marvel movies is running for the most part, and ones that Disney has a say in. You can tell. You know what I mean? Like, you know what? You might want to pull back on this. You know what I mean? Because like certain characters that we already seen should have been top flight violence, just like whatever violence, or it'd be top flight violence, but you don't see no blood, no guts, no nothing like that. You ain't really see blood in Black Panther, but it was arguably the most violent Disney movie ever. So, and then you have what's that, Winter Soldier, things of that nature. You see all these blammers going, but you don't see nobody getting hit really. You know what I'm saying, or seeing the residues of being hit by a AK bullet. You know what I'm saying? You don't see
Yeah.
those splats. So
Implied violence goes a long way with this kind of genre, but now we're getting to characters. The violence
like
isn't
Deadpool.
implied. The violence
Yeah,
is quite overt. Like, hey, I'm chopping your head off. That's just what it is. You know
yeah,
what I
you
mean?
can't have just like everything be clean because like if you looked at the previous Deadpool, you know what I'm saying, his character is so racy that you can't do implied violence. You
Can
know
you
what I mean?
pull up
To
that
get away.
trailer while we talking? I mean, I want to check that. What that little, what was it, like a teaser? I think Will, him and
But
for Deadpool 3. No, there isn't any kind of. Never mind, Fresh. There isn't any kind of. It's just Ryan Reynolds dropping subtle hints about Wolverine.
Yeah.
But yeah, once they get into this Deadpool 3, because that's coming up soon, actually. I do think they're gonna let him run wild. My thing is this: like I said, you already know how I feel about this. Is Ryan Reynolds just gonna go all Ryan Reynolds? You know
I
what I
don't know,
mean?
man. I mean, they just kind of brought that up in that last version of She-Hulk that the Sokovia Accords was dismissed for whatever reason. So you can't have some maniac running around with fucking swords and Wolverine slashing through a bunch of people, man, without some kind of consequences, man.
But he's an anti-hero, so I mean, his consequences aren't. They're always going to be something lighthearted or
Somebody's
something
coming after him.
directly.
Somebody's
I
coming
mean,
after.
at
And
some
just go
point, yeah.
around chopping up a bunch of people, and there's no consequence. Somebody's coming after him.
I mean, I feel like Wolverine's going to be the one to come after him. I mean, that's the most common sense thing. Yeah, they're definitely going to have a fight scene. You're probably going to see Wolverine chop his arm off, or because Deadpool is the type of character you can get violent with, because technically he is a zombie. Well, not
I mean,
a
it's a
zombie.
cartoon. I mean, he's a cartoon character, so they'll
Yeah.
make it more like cartoon type violence.
Right. Now, when it comes to the goons and the thugs, they might catch hell. They'll probably get a lot of implied violence. But my thing about Deadpool is the cursing mostly. That's the stuff you're not going to get away with on Marvel. I mean, in the Disney world.
I mean, he'll find a way. That's Ryan Reynolds. He'll find a way. He didn't really do too much cussing in his movies. I don't remember.
It was a lot of sexual innuendos and some F word.
It was, but the sexual innuendo goes right along with what they're trying to do over at Disney right now, anyway. So
Nah, not that heavy.
Yo, well, yeah, not that heavy because that was very heavy-handed, but like the dreaded F-bomb, they're not dropping that shit on Disney.
Well, I mean, you got the adult, settings too. So
what Disney movie you heard the F-bomb dropped?
Yeah, Will's
But
one.
right, but listen, but
Oh,
didn't they just implement the adult content for all the Fox shit? You put your parental controls on there.
I mean, yeah,
You
that's
don't got
one
to go to
thing.
Hulu now to watch the raunchier stuff. Oh, you can go straight to
Right,
Disney,
but
put
I
your little
mean,
code in and watch it.
but why would I deny my own bag by not letting you get this content? So I get that, but we're talking about a company that whole business model is family, and F word and family ain't the same thing. You know what I mean? Those are two different F words. So that's the one I'm just, this is the thing that everybody was once scared about when this whole Marvel thing took place. Where if it got to a point, what happens when we start getting to these more serious, murderous, realistic type characters? Are they going to stay true to them, or are they going to water them down?
I think that I mean, we haven't really seen. I mean, we kind of got a glimpse of what they tend to do with like a character like Daredevil, who's a street level hero.
Moon Knight, he's a killer. They watered him down crazy.
Yeah. We'll see with Daredevil. We'll see when they finally decide to pull over Punisher.
That's the guy right there. I'm waiting for the Punisher.
It's gonna be just it's gonna be just like this Werewolf by Night. It's gonna be off-screen kills and a lot of wailing and shit. And you're not gonna see shit really. It's just gonna be a bunch of blood splatters and screams and shit.
Man screams.
Maybe a couple of limbs and shit flying.
Yeah.